All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular board meeting tonight, September 18th, 2025. We're also streaming on the DPS 109 YouTube channel. Can I have a call to order at 7:01 p.m.? I'll call to order 7:01 p.m. Sorry, not have. I'm a little out of practice. I missed one meeting, right? Okay, approval of the meeting agenda. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Or can I have a second?
You're so used to it.
I know, I'm out of sorts. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, first on the agenda, Stronger Together in 109. Kathy?
All right, I'm going to turn this over.
All right. Hi, board. How are you? So we are actually going to start with a movie, the video that we put together, that communication department put together, and then I'll kind of talk about it once it's over, and then we'll pass it over to our student and our staff.
As I went through reflection here more and more, I started to realize that there was little things that I could do around the school to help out. So that's when Ms. Spees introduced the community corner to me. I learned that it's a great idea to go around the building and meet new people that work there.
So my favorite thing about Community Corner is that I get to know some interesting facts about different staff members. Like for example, last year I found out that Ms. Dowell, our nurse, really likes, I think it was mac and cheese with sausages and peas.
All right, so that video kind of just captures, I think, what has been going on at Crusoe. A lot of this was from last year. And so when the Stronger Together theme happened this year, I'm like, well, we're ready. This is awesome. So I don't want to steal it. I'm going to pass it to these people. I do want to say this is Mrs. Spees last year. So if the board could disapprove her retirement, I would love that, to keep her forever, because she's amazing. She's a big reason why we're behind this and getting kids like Sean and Jonah, who you saw in the video. He also is a big part of really bringing our community together. So they're going to share a couple stories about what we did last year, what we have starting to do this year, and then the vision for not only Spees' last year, Sean's last year as an 8th grader, but the legacy they're leaving behind. So I'll pass it to Ms. Spees first.
Hi, good evening. I'm Dana Spees. And
I'm Sean.
Okay. And we had an opportunity last year to work together a lot within this project, him and I and some others. Him and Jonah were the ones that were behind it a lot. I took their energy that they had in the middle of the day and sent them on these tasks to start meeting people. And so part of our strategic plan in the building was building a better community. Like, how do we get to know? How do the kids know their teachers? The kids know all the people that are in their lives, but they just pass by a lot of people throughout the day. So we started saying, well, who can we talk to? And I think the first one was Nick, and then we had Miss Kay.
Yep.
Right? And Miss Kay is our lunch lady, and Nick is our custodian, our amazing custodian. And then we just started moving it along where we just went around, and then we went to teams and the crossing guard and the bus drivers. And so we made our rounds across the board, and Sean and Jonah, I mean, it was always seemed to be with pizza in hand because they were having lunch, would get to talk to them. But every person that they met would send me an email or follow up with, that was so cool. Sean and Jonah, wow, they were so fun to talk to and to tell our story too. So I want you to tell a little bit about your journey and kind of how you came there. Okay?
I'm trying to use the mic. I think I'm loud.
Well, I'm loud enough too.
Okay.
It's for the Zoom.
Oh, okay. So how I started was I used to get in trouble a lot, or, well, I guess a little bit. But one time I came to a reflection room, which is like what we have when you get in trouble. You go there for lunch to reflect on your decisions. And then after, that's basically how I started the community corner. So Ms. Spees told me and my friend Jonah to instead of just sitting there talking, which we weren't supposed to do, to go walk around this, or she gave us a person to go interview for this thing that she made called Community Corner. So I think our first person was Nick, our custodian. So me and Jonah went to him with our Chromebooks, got some questions, and we interviewed him. So then basically we started getting out of trouble, and then we'd come back at more and more every week to do more interviews. So, yeah.
And they didn't have to be there, they just wanted to be there, right? They didn't have to, they got to. And so that was kind of the cool thing. And then they moved up to 8th grade, and right now we're working on, we think we might have some other kids that will join. Last year it was called Community Corner, and with our new slogan for the district, I think we're going to go with Community Connections, right? So him being in 8th grade, we hope that he'll be able to pass his legacy along and positivity, because I know that when I walk in the office and I see him talking to the 2 secretaries and they're all like, Sean, right? Because everybody knows who Sean is because he's part of the community, and it's pretty cool, right? Pretty special.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
And I understand he has a request.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry.
Nervous.
All right, so I was wondering if probably not all of you, but if some of you could come to Crusoe maybe next week, and I can interview some of you guys for Community Corner. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be great. Kathy, would you help?
Yes,
set that
I
up?
will coordinate schedules.
Yeah.
To make sure that
That's awesome.
your journalists can find you. But you also want a photo because looks like you put photos, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess it would work. I don't know.
He might put on his mitzvah jeans again for the picture, right?
Do you have any questions before?
Here, I'm gonna give you that.
I just have, I want, that's very loud. I have one question for you. When you were first asked, I think you said, was it Nick, correct?
Yep.
Okay. When you would first do that, how nervous were you? And has your confidence grown in talking to new people?
Well, I'm already pretty confident. Like the main reason why I get in trouble is because I talk too much. So it's not hard for me to talk to new people. So I'm not shy.
I love
So yeah, that probably answers it.
it. That's,
He's got more confidence.
he's got more confidence. I love
So,
it.
Yeah.
Sean, does this encourage you to get into more trouble so you can spend more time doing this?
Of course. I'm
So,
doing much better this year.
A serious question. So you consciously selected some folks that all the kids know, like everybody knows Nick, right? And then they're often not in the spotlight. So why did you pick Nick and some others that you've chosen? And then what have you learned about this in the process? And it's wonderful. You're the best part of the board meeting, by the way. And you've got somebody beaming over here on the right. Who might that be?
That's my mom.
We thought so. It's wonderful. So tell us what you've learned and why you picked the folks that you picked.
So I picked the folks that I picked because, well, you have your main teachers who, like a bunch of the kids know or will get to know, but there's also some teachers that you don't get to meet or staff. So I picked to interview some of them. Like, for example, like I did Nick because like it's not like a lot of people get to talk to him. So it's cool when people get to find out facts about people who they don't know. Or like, who else can I do? Let's see. Or like the tech lady we had, Miss Raskiv. I interviewed her. I mean, no one. I mean, like I said, she doesn't really teach a class, so not a lot of people know a lot about her. So I just chose people who were like, you could not underrepresented, or that's the wrong word, but I just want, yeah, underrecognized. So I just wanted more people to find out that everyone matters and yeah, that everyone's important and find out fun facts about them. Yeah, like I said, like our nurse, I found out one of her favorite foods. Like I said, it was mac and cheese with peas and sausages.
Have you tried it?
No, yeah, I'll pass on that.
I have a question. It's really loud. So you talked about, you started going there because you were getting into trouble. And as you reflected and came up with this idea, how did you go about telling your mom and you're going back home and just saying, so I was in trouble. How did you present that to your parents at home?
Well,
I mean, because obviously you took something, and you turned it into something better, which is great. So how did you, and as a parent, that's like a, it's a great thing to see happening.
Well, I would say, like, I know that I'm getting in trouble, but, like, I'm also making up for it by doing this. So, I guess, yeah, that mainly answers it.
He's always very honest with his words, because it's funny with being in that space with him, that Miss Fees, right? The drama. But he always, I think this was like, he would run to the space to say, let's talk about who we should interview this week. And it was pretty cool, because he didn't, it turned into those few times he was going to have to come and reflect, and that's what we wanted it to be, a reflection about, like, what can we do better or differently? And he turned it into something that became like a source of joy for some, like when we did the bus drivers, and I have the picture of them, and they're all standing there, and they were so happy that we took the time to, right, to get to know them. We wave to them every day, but we don't ever get to actually talk to them.
Yeah.
And there was quite a few people that we never had that opportunity.
I'm really happy about that.
I just think it's awesome that you've taken something that you initially identified as maybe a weakness, like talking a lot or talking maybe when you weren't supposed to be, and you turned it into like a massive strength. So I think that's incredible. Good job.
Thank you.
I'd like to also make a comment for Ms. Bees and the team at Caruso, like, to be able to take a moment that, like, you know, instead of sitting there and thinking about what we did wrong, like, let's take this moment, reflect, let's turn it into something better. And taking advantage of that moment as administrators and leaders in your classrooms and in your school to you know, let the kids know that, okay, like, we made a bad decision, but this isn't something that you need to carry and just, you know, the end of it. Like, we could take this bad decision and turn it into something good, which I think is also a great message. So continue that. And, you know, my challenge to you is to carry it forward. You're, you know, finishing 8th grade this year, and you're going to be entering 9th grade next year. Don't forget that, right? Like, you've gained a lot of confidence, carry it forward.
Yeah, I mean, I also have a brother in 6th grade, so hopefully maybe he can take on the community.
Carry the torch.
Yeah, carry the torch. So that'd be nice.
Let's get a picture, board members, if you could kind of switch. And John, I'll email this to you.
All right, so should I stay right here?
Yeah. And I need to do a public.
I'm just glad to have that back, by the way, in the
Yeah.
agenda. It's been a while. Feels like it's been a while.
Thank you so much for
So,
coming.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so next on the agenda, superintendent's report.
And what a come down, huh? Yeah. So we have a High Five Friday to talk about. We've got a nice little video to show you what High Five Friday is all about. All right, a lot of energy at Kipling last week. Tomorrow, we'll be at South Park, and we've got an extraordinary team of police officers and firefighters. The school resource officer will be there, and it's just it's a great opportunity to welcome kids to school on a Friday morning. So I'd like to say what a great thing that was to do. What a way to kick the day off. Got a True North update. This is a completely different turn from what we've had in the past, which was recommendations about districts leaving the True North Cooperative. So it looks like we had a board meeting, True North board meeting last night, and a number of items were presented to the True North governing body that markedly move away from the dissolution of the body, and it looks like possibly all 18 districts might remain within the co-op. Certainly, the overwhelming majority of them will remain. For 112, for 109, what that looks like is zero membership, which is about a $400,000 difference for us. Fee-based model for the services that we will use. We look like we're going to have one student in the co-op next year, and so whatever the charge is, all the entire charge for that student, if the student remains at True North, we would bear the cost of that. Any district sending students would bear the full cost of services rendered for them. There would be no penalty to exit at any time. The districts would forego their claims on assets. And one of the big changes is a leadership structure. Instead of having a superintendent, they'd have an executive director. Instead of having 18 board members at a monthly board meeting, the governing body of board members would come together twice a year to pass things that only the governing body can do, and the rest of the time, the executive director would report to the superintendents, who would meet not less than 6 times per year. So it is a marked turnaround, and one that it looks like we might wind up requesting a withdrawal of our petition to withdraw, a withdrawal of the withdrawal.
I like the
Yeah.
rescind. The rescind is a better word.
Yeah. And so what happens is there's initial presentation to the board in September, then in October, the governing body, the existing governing body would pass those, and then in November is when they would like us and other districts who have asked to withdraw to rescind our petition to withdraw. So that is the high level. The services would be reduced from the co-op. A really significant number of staff, like 200 staff, would be reduced. They would be RIFed. And these are public conversations, and obviously not an easy thing for anybody to do, but it is a marked difference from a complete dissolution to a reconstitution under different bylaws. So anything to add, Kelly?
That was absolutely all accurate. Our meeting last night went really well. I just want to acknowledge and thank all the members of the reorganization committee. It was pretty extraordinary to see superintendents representing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 7 or 8 different districts in our region who have spent hours, evenings, weekends between August and now putting together this model. They're opening their own districts, they were taking care of their own schools and their own needs, and on top of it, we're doing this monumental lift in conjunction with True North administration. So it was impressive, and it's just honestly really nice to see so many of our leaders in our region just working so cohesively together. It doesn't just impact and benefit True North, but it just frankly elevates the region when you get a bunch of these people in the room and they're working so collaboratively. So I just want to commend that. And then just to kind of focus in on the fact that the goal is to shift this to a therapeutic day school, which is a little bit different than a full-blown cooperative with lots of arms of services and programs. And it's just a campus-based, at this point, K through 22 day program for students with complex needs. So those are some of the major conversations. And Mike's correct on the timeline. The request would be that by the November True North board meeting, our district, as well as every other district, would be able to be definitive about our position.
This would go into effect next fall? Is that-
So this entire year, the 25-26 year has been set, budgeted, staffed, nothing changes. Several of the proposals would go through one more year, the 26-27 year. Some would sunset starting 26-27. It just depends on which program. I'm trying to think, like, what would be one I can give you an
What-
example of?
I guess the question is, when does our fee stop?
This is the final year.
This would be the final year of this the
Fiscally,
fee. Okay.
yeah. But moving into the 26-27 school year, some services and programs will continue and some will sunset.
And this was really a rabbit out of a hat. This is the best possible
Yeah.
outcome that could have been imagined for the co-op. The districts are quite united in what they desire. There is a lot of agreement about the services that they wanted to see the co-op render. And then obviously for districts like 109, the zero membership fee is really a thing, and that was hotly debated. Is that even going to be a possibility? So at the moment, it looks very positive, and so I wouldn't want to surprise the community or the board with a possible recommendation in November for us to rescind our petition.
And not to get into the weeds at all, because that's not the goal of this, but again, with that therapeutic day school, the goal is to inward focus all of the energy, attention, professional development, and coaching on serving the students at the campus, enhancing and making their programming more academically and socially, emotionally rigorous, and to go to a classroom-based model of services and a little bit less away from like one-on-one TAs and things like that. So unless Joanna feels strongly in a different direction, to me, it seems like the right thing for kids.
Yeah, I think they're also being responsive to feedback they've gotten from a number of assistant soups or special ed directors about some concerns about how
Yeah.
the current therapeutic model is running, exactly what you mentioned. We find that when students return to us, there's some significant academic gaps. Rightfully so, they're focusing on the therapeutic needs, which we appreciate, but we also need to up the rigor of the curriculum. And there were probably, I think they recognized just too many adults in some of the classrooms because there were so many one-to-one teaching assistants, which at times is needed, but also then limits the ability for kids to build that independence.
Yeah, they're going to focus more on the service individuals, so OT, PT, speech being pushed in more and being more part of the classrooms than necessarily relying on aides. So anyways, that's it.
So that's big news. And in other news,
Can I ask
Oh,
a question?
yep.
And not to get too much into the weeds. That zero membership, is that indefinite? And obviously, that revenue is a certain percentage of their annual budget. So looking at whatever that number is, I'll say 25 or 30%. So have they projected out where they're going to also
Yes.
reduce that in expenses?
There is, and it will.
And again, I don't want to get too
No,
much.
I won't get too much in the ways, I won't get
Yeah.
too much numbers. We have the EBF dollars that are set by the states, about $2.5 million allocated to the cooperative. Everyone that spoke last night claims that they feel that that's a pretty stable and steady, predictable number if you could stably predict funds. The second piece is the projected rates that they're putting forth for half-day and full-day therapeutic day programming are fairly conservative. Should they over-collect at the end of the year, then the executive committee of superintendents can take a look at that over-collection and make determinations if there's any reallocations that are warranted or if that money should go into some type of fund balance for future programs. They felt very confident about this, and all the minds that were up there felt in sync about the finances. I agree, Rosie, it's a good question. It takes a little leap of faith to go to a zero-based membership model and think that it's going to work out favorably. But the people that have been working on it feel good about it, so.
Okay. So then my next question, on the foregoing claims on assets in the future, will all the districts know that number going into it? What they would, should they want to exit in the future, will that number be known at the start?
It's a great question,
So
and I
that-
can ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't-
I'll bring that to
I
you.
haven't heard that number yet. Okay.
And thanks, Kelly,
Sure, no,
for not sleeping the last
No, and I will proactively thank Mike for now picking up the torch of attending meetings. Thank you, Mike.
Because what I needed in my life was
I-
more True North
I will
meetings.
be getting my precious sleep,
Yeah.
and I will be
it's
thinking of
every,
you.
at least it's every other month, right?
I've always said I believe anybody in education, you have 12 more hours in your day than I do.
Yeah. I'll ask that question to them, Rosie.
Thanks, Kelly.
Okay, so listening and learning around the community. We've had 2 sessions so far. We had one at Wilmot last week and one at Walden this week. We have upcoming sessions next week at Kipling, and then October 7th at the Patty Turner Center, and October 8th at South Park, and October 18th again at Wilmot. So this is a moment I wanted to take. We've had 2 board members that attended each of these sessions, and I wanted to ask those of you who had attended, what are the 3 takeaways? You had to narrow it to 3 takeaways that you have so far from your listening sessions. What would those 3 takeaways be?
I'll start. So I had a chance to attend the Wilmot listening session with David, and it was great because a couple of the things I learned. One is that Deerfield is not unique in the sense that we have old buildings, and we have a lot of neighbors and districts around us that have the same challenges because a lot of the schools were built in the same time. And there's also been a lot of success in surrounding districts with what we're doing. So while it feels like a microcosm and we're in a bubble, really we have a lot in common with some of our partners who've done this and gone through this journey. The second takeaway I had was that this is not new news that people care about taxes. But the new part to it was they care about other things in addition to their tax bill. So some of the themes we heard were, the logistics of are the students going to be okay with the transition? The safety and security of being in a different facility. And, at the end of the day, when we did the tours, I think, at least for Wilmot, that was pretty eye-opening for me. I don't get the underbelly tour as a parent, and I don't get it as a board member. So to be a part of, when you're standing in a building and you look to your left and you see 3 different levels, and then you look to your right and you see 4 more different levels, it was concerning. And, just to be in that building, but thinking that our buildings run for 9 months out of the year, 10 months out of the year, and kids are exposed to all that. So, well put together. I'm looking forward to hearing more from our community about upcoming sessions, and thanks for letting us be a part of it.
The same one as Kate. I would say first is the overall engagement and reaction was, I'd say, generally positive. I think people are engaged to understand why and what they're going to get out of it, and really the focus was the benefit of the students, which is why we're doing it. So I thought that was very good. There were a lot of questions on, detailed questions on the schematics and the timing, and a lot of it centered on Walden, which I know there's been some community questions on, and the administration's working through some of those questions and answers. One other one was how to get constituents that wouldn't be at these meetings to know more about the project. I know we're going to Patty Turner, but what else can we do to get folks without kids to really dive in and ask the questions to get to their own conclusion on what they think is best for the community? So any ideas anybody might have on how we can better do that was certainly a takeaway. And then the last one was, there were a lot of questions that I got on the parity of the 4 elementary schools, knowing 2 are full rebuild and 2 are quote-unquote remodels. And once they understood that for all intents and purposes it's the same, it kind of reassured some folks. So whatever we can do from making it clear that it's going to be the same educational experience no matter which one of those 4 you go to, I think will go a long way for us.
Yeah, Rosie and I had the pleasure of being at the event last night with the Walden families, and a few takeaways from me, being my first event as a representative out in the community was, really, amazed at how well-informed our community is on these topics and the high degree of understanding that they come to with these type of issues, which I think, at the end of the day, that's really what we want, right? This is a decision that, as a whole, we're making together. So I think that was really great. Also, I think one thing that kept coming up yesterday was for us to really think about the long term. And when we think long term, like, again, our buildings are 68 to 70 years old. And so I think the community was, you got to think 68, 70, 75 years long, right? Don't think about just what the pain is for 2 or 3 years of construction. Our community is willing to burden that pain if it means getting to better outcomes. So think about the long term, and that being 60, 70 years. And also, our community really understands their responsibility to invest in our kids and in our schools and in our facilities. And the reasons why they have stayed in the community for as long as they have, or have moved into the community as they did when they had young families. And they understand their responsibility to pay it forward for the next generation. So I think that was really welcoming.
I was with Ray yesterday at Walden. Three takeaways. One, we all know this, John knows his stuff. Like, he was, very impressive, just well able to diffuse any, concerning questions. He's great with numbers, he's great with people. So I just want to commend John on that. And I think just really, our community just cares, and it's really important to just look at these conversations as meaningful conversations to be able to find solutions for everybody, because it is a huge ask. It's a generational ask, what we're asking people to consider. So, I just think, one, John knows his stuff. Two, it's great to engage with them and just understand where they're coming from, and really looking at both ends, the empty nesters and the folks that are just bursting at the seams with, all the little kids going to school. So I think we have a great community that values education, and it's just really great to see how we are able to be out there and just, you guys being there as late as you are, knowing that this is not your community as well, as this is not your home. To pull you away from your families is really, it's a lot. So thank you so much. But I just think that, to me, I really enjoyed the conversations last night. I enjoyed meeting people, putting names to faces that I've seen so many times being in the Walden neighborhood, and also seeing new families coming, like other families from Wilmot. Like, people are really coming across to town. Now that I have a high schooler, you really start to see the bridge, like you're meeting other families. And so it's really great to be engaging with the elementary families in the Walden, and then being over at the other schools. So I'm looking forward to being at the other schools as well, to see and meet more families. So thank you.
Well, one thing that was very clear is that public school in Deerfield is viewed as a team sport. So there's a lot of engagement, a lot of bright and caring folks. I'd like to thank the board members for their time and attention and engagement with the community. It's a difficult role, and it's a great opportunity for the board to engage. I think our next slide illustrates something related to giving of time. So 109 is one of only 42 districts to earn the Illinois Association of School Boards 2025 School Board Governance Recognition Designation. And that's because our board goes to the III Conference. They go to Lake County School Board meetings. They go to the new school board member orientation on a Saturday. So we were there. And this is something that the Deerfield Board has done for a very long time, and very proud to be one of those 42 districts, and I'd like to congratulate the board. You do learn a lot as a board member, as Ray and I were talking about. You get to know other board members, and you develop a network over time as you go. And I'd like to say thank you and congratulations to the board.
All right. Any questions for Mike? Anything else? I'll save my comments to the end. All right, so next on the agenda, community participation relative to matters on the meeting agenda. District 109 has 2 opportunities for public comment, where many organizations offer 1 opportunity. Our policy stems from the community's long-standing commitment to public discourse and representation. We take all public comment very seriously, and while public comment isn't a back and forth, but instead an opportunity for the board to listen, please know that we listen carefully. Our first period of community participation is solely for items related to the meeting's agenda, and the second period of community participation near the end of the meeting is open for all matters. If you wish to comment, please fill out a community participation form located, I think, over by the refrigerator, and hand it to Becky Rudd, who's sitting over here in the corner. We will call you up one at a time to the podium to speak. Please limit to all comments to no more than 3 minutes. Do we have anybody in the first? No, okay. All right. Moving on, informational items, 6.1 FOIAs.
Yeah, there are a number in your packet. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right. Annual enrollment update.
Yeah, we do this every August, and we present for you enrollment numbers for each of our schools and grade levels. Good news is that enrollment is tracking just as it should on our demographer's report, and as a reminder, we are projected to remain stable for the next 10 years.
And that's stability factors in any new construction that feeds in?
3 new developments right now.
Thank you.
When is the next demographic study? Isn't it like every 5 years?
We do one annually every spring.
So it's every year?
Yep.
Okay. We remember that presentation that we had with I keep talking about it because it was such an impressive presentation about the heat maps where they were talking. Yeah, is that the one? They're going to redo that every?
We do it every year in partnership with our partners at the village.
It might be a good one. I mean, in the spring here, I think that's going to be a big one probably based off the timing of it. So I like that. Okay. Any questions for John on the enrollment? All right, 6.3 succession plan.
This is another annual to-do for us. It spells out by board policy our succession of authority for the superintendent position, but also for all of our building sites as well.
Any questions on the succession plan? All right. Employee compensation report.
And another annual to-do. This is our staff salary and benefits report that we're required to publish by Public Act 96-0434. We go further than is required and publish everybody, including referees and lunch supervisors that work for the district. And this, after board approval, would be posted on the district's website.
Any questions? All right, 6.5 intergovernmental agreement for GIS school safety mapping.
Yeah, and this represents an incremental safety improvement for us requested by Deerfield Dispatch. We have a strong and long partnership with our partners at the Deerfield Police Department and in particular in dispatch, and they have secured grant funding and are requesting that we approve an intergovernmental agreement for a school mapping project that will improve first responder response to our schools.
Will we get that data too, that mapping?
Yeah, but primarily it's for
their use.
For their use,
yeah. I'm sure there's some use that we may have, or Tim may have.
Perhaps,
right?
yeah.
So what's the value of that? Do we have an estimate?
I would describe that one in closed session.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the safety implications of that.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any more questions on that? All right, moving on to the consent agenda. 7.1.1, approval of meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Wait, 1 second. We
Yeah.
have to do the rest of the consent agenda, the whole thing.
sorry, the whole
right,
thing. Yeah,
sorry.
there's some crossed off here. Is there a reason why they're?
Only because there's no personnel items. to report this
Got
one.
it, okay. So 7.1.1, approval of meeting minutes. 7.1.2, there's no personnel, no items to report this month. 7.1.3, bills for payment, and 7.1.4, discussion of closed session audio. I have a motion to approve this consent agenda.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Abraham? I'm sorry, I'm so hoarse. Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Jackamue?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
And President Qual.
Do I need to abstain because I missed the meeting last week? or-
For the minutes.
For the minutes,
Oh, those minutes are on the next,
The
they're
next agenda, okay,
individual.
so aye.
So you're fine.
Yeah, aye.
You're fine.
I'm off my game today, huh? All right, 7.2, treasurer's report. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Okay, Ms. Bonner?
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld?
Aye.
Ms. Joyce?
Aye.
Mr. Murav?
Aye.
Mr. Abraham?
Aye.
Ms. Jackamue?
Aye.
And President Qual.
Aye. All right, 7.3, approval of regular meeting minutes from August 21st, 2025. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Dornfeld.
Aye.
Ms. Joyce.
Aye.
Mr. Murav.
Aye.
Ms. Giacomo.
Aye.
Mr. Abraham.
Aye.
Ms. Bonner.
Aye.
And President Quo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, 7.4, annual enrollment update. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Joyce.
Aye.
Mr. Murav.
Aye.
Mr. Abraham.
Aye.
Ms. Bonner.
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld.
Aye.
Ms. Giacomo.
Aye.
And President Quo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
7.5, succession plan. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Murav.
Aye.
Mr. Abraham.
Aye.
Ms. Bonner.
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld.
Aye.
Ms. Joyce.
Aye.
Ms. Giacomo.
Aye.
And President Quo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
7.7, policy final reading, 2:2,
Oh, wait.
oh, sorry.
Did we do
Did I miss one?
employee compensation?
We just did that one.
I thought-
Oh, sorry. 7.6, employee compensation report,
Wait,
man.
am I wrong?
Yeah, which,
I thought we just did succession.
Yeah, I thought we did 5.
So it is compensation.
okay.
Yeah.
7.6, employee compensation report. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Bonner.
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld.
Aye.
Ms. Joyce.
Aye.
Ms. Giacomo.
Aye.
Mr. Murav.
Aye.
Mr. Abraham.
Aye.
And President Quo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. This
Get
is-
excited.
Yeah, I got ahead. I started reading. 7.7, policy final reading, 2:260, 2:265, 4:15, 4:80, 5:10, 5:20, 5:60, 5:100, 6:150, 6:235, 7:10, 7:20, 7:50, 7:60, 7:70, 7:180, 7:185, 7:190, 7:200, 7:210, 7:250, 7:255, 7:270, 7:310, 7:340, and 8:30. May I have a motion to approve?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anybody miss one?
Which one?
Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Giacomo.
Aye.
Ms. Joyce.
Aye.
Mr. Murav.
Aye.
Mr. Abraham.
Aye.
Ms. Bonner.
Aye.
Dr. Dornfeld.
Aye.
And President Quo.
Aye.
Motion carries.
It's one of those where you say the same word over and over and you're like, it starts to sound weird. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, 8 committee reports.
Like withdraw?
Yeah, exactly.
I already provided the True North one with Mike's soup report, unless there's any outstanding True North questions. Hearing none, FDC met before tonight's meeting. We had Archon here, we had CCS, I was going to get that acronym wrong, here to present to us progress updates on our master facility planning, as well as some proposed 2026 summer work. And John, do you want to add any, extrapolate on any of that for the rest of the board?
Yeah, just giving an update on construction planning, not putting the cart before the horse, so to speak, but in order to meet the proposed deadlines that are being discussed as part of the construction planning that's being shared in the community right now, we're putting all of the work in place that needs to be done to meet those milestones. So we have everything to go, ready to go, but it does not mean that we will proceed.
And there was a lot of conversation and clarification around kind of like pivotal points, meaning like point of no returns. So as John and George and everyone's putting all this together, we'll have milestones that we'll reach to help the board with decision-making about moving forward or pulling backwards. So there's like a really nice calendar layout in the packet if you want to take a look at it, that points out the different times, whether it's before December or before March, where we would have to sort of make a decision on either engaging in work or purchasing or potentially pulling back and re-examining. So nothing was decided today. It was just kind of put out there as a calendar. And I'm not on policy, and I don't think you guys have an update, but I just wanted to thank policy and Dale, because I think that was a heavy lift this go around, and you guys did a really good job. So thank you.
Anything else on the committees? All right. second open community participation session. We take all public comment very seriously, and while public comment isn't a back and forth and instead an opportunity for the board to listen, please know we listen carefully. The second period of community participation near the end of this meeting is open for all matters. If you wish to comment, please fill out a community participation form located over by the refrigerator and hand it to Becky Rudd. We will call you up one at a time to the podium to speak. Please limit the length of all comments to no more than 3 minutes. Becky.
Okay, we'll call Joseph Kopsik.
Joe Kopsik from Waukegan. Last month, I told you why using strangers to enforce the policy to allow students to use locker rooms constitutes a forcible transfer of children from one protected group, parents, to another group, the schools are operated by the state. Genocide. I wanted to come back to start over. Last month, I told you why using strangers to enforce the policy to allow students to use locker rooms corresponding to the gender with which they identify constitutes a forcible transfer of children from one protected group, parents, to another group, the schools operated by the state, resembles genocide. I wanted to come back to explain why I think this is not just hyperbole. You may recall reading that some of the books which the Nazis burned were books about gender. You might think, well, the only reason they would have done that is because they hated transgender people, right? Not exactly. It's not that simple. The Nazis burned books about gender because those books gave homosexuals a way to stop being homosexual, that is, by changing their gender. How is this anything other than conversion therapy, a practice which is usually opposed by homosexuals because it tries to change the nature of who they are? Think about it. We tell gay teens, oh, you're a boy, but you also like boys? Hey, wait, you know who else likes boys? Girls. Maybe you're really a girl. The line of thinking here really is that stupid. But back to my point. Gays in Nazi Germany who agreed to try to transition were in one way defying the Nazis, but in another very important way, they were doing exactly what the Nazis wanted them to do, ceasing to be homosexual and sterilizing themselves so they couldn't go on to reproduce. It's Nazi collaboration through submission. If you read the Cornell Law Dictionary's definition of genocide, you'll see that attempting to interfere with or limit a group of people's ability to reproduce is one of its components. If you're thinking, well, that's only one component out of 6, you're wrong. That's because you also support forcible transfer of children from one group to another, and also because you only have to commit one of these acts in order to commit attempted genocide. You're also probably not aware that genital surgery has been done on kids as young as 17, double mastectomies on kids as young as 13, and hormone-emitting devices installed into the arms of 11 and 12-year-old girls surgically while they scream. Another one of these acts that you committed was causing mental harm. You certainly made the girls in the locker room suffer mental harm. In fact, I worry that some of them might become permanently deterred from having families after the inappropriate attention which was placed on them by your employees. But I will not insist that my fear is true, basically. Unlike your acolytes who have repeatedly insisted to children that for someone who's gender questioning, the only alternative to transitioning is suicide. What conclusion do you think kids will draw from this? What do you think they're going to do after you tell them this? There's an internet gang called 764 Group. It goes online and encourages children to self-harm and kill themselves. You are in this group.
Becky, do we have anybody? That's it? Okay.
That's it.
All right. All right, next on the agenda is Board Superintendent Other. All right, I got a couple things. So, all right. First off, I want to thank Becky for helping us with the government's paperwork. As with every year, I was late to it. I think we were both a little late to it. So thank you for pushing us and getting that done. And obviously it came with a good outcome. Everybody does their part. It's a team effort, right? So thank you so much. I want to thank the board members for going to those listening sessions. Super critical. Feedback is going to be super helpful. I know there's been a lot of discussion that's already been out there. I think the question was asked, like, how can we get more people engaged? I think the level of engagement so far has actually been pretty good. It's early in the process, and seeing 40 to 60 folks show up to these meetings is a good showing. There's a lot of engagement out there in the public that we're all hearing, us as we go along out there is just taking the opportunities of the different block parties and events that we go to, if we get into those conversations, is to take that feedback as well. There's a lot of good learnings from that I've had. I'll say this as being on the board for, I think it's 8 or 9 years now, which is it's not that long, it feels like for me. But it's really, your role on the board is very much a long-term view, right? We are a generational board. We make a lot of decisions that are immediate, that are within the time period that we're operating in. But the most important things that we talk about are things that are going to impact the district, the boards, the kids, the staff over decades, right? So the decisions that we make related to taxation on a year-to-year basis oftentimes has, long-term impacts. What we're benefiting from today in terms of this position, to be in a financial position that we are in, to be able to even evaluate something like this, is because of decisions and actions that board members and administrative teams and community members have done 2 decades ago, right? So, I think it's the right question, the right thing for the community to be focused on, for us as a board to be thinking about this as a 60, 70-year endeavor, because that's where the buildings are today, right? And so the expectation is that the next set of buildings are likely to be, existing in some shape or form 60, 70 years from now. That said, I don't think we take as a board the tax implications to the district or to the residents of our village lightly. I know I don't. I know we all received what we got in the mail, right, related to our assessments, and we all have our own budgets to be able to deal with and have to work through, and our own challenges related to those things. So I think the options that we have in front of us are not taken lightly in terms of those decisions, but I believe that, as a board, and definitely as one member on the board, that it's not that the decision has been made, but rather that there's a recognition that something needs to be done, right? That there is a requirement and a need in our district in order to ensure that the facilities meet the mission and vision of what we want to achieve for our students in the long run, and the expectations of our residents and our parents and our children and our staff, right? Of the buildings that they should be the education should be provided within. And now at this point, we've done 3 or 4 years worth of work to figure out what options are in front of us in order to address those. And I think this is the phase in which we're now hearing from the community, in which what they believe, right, and what they're willing to support within the guidelines of that 3 or 4 years worth of work, right? There's a ton of work left to be done, but I would say that this is my big long thanks, is that I want to thank you guys as a administrative team to put us in a position where we have very clear decisions in front of us, and very clear communication to be made to the community. So that way we can elicit as much feedback as we can possible from them in order to make what I believe is probably the biggest decision that a board will probably make, or this board will likely make in the next several decades, right? So wanted to say that on record. I'm not sure if anybody's watching. They could always go back and rewind this thing, right? But I thought it was important to say that, we are very much in that mode of wanting to hear every possible feedback that the community can provide us, because it only helps not only us make a decision, but also potentially helps improve the plan and the outcomes that we're trying to achieve here. So thank you to the community, if you guys are watching, for even coming to the meetings and listening to us and providing that feedback. Then the last thing I have is we don't have a question of the day today, because frankly, it was not very thick of a meeting. So, but I'll get to one next week. I haven't forgotten about it. I'll bring it back, right?
Kelly asked a question of the person.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a question of the day, though.
He was like, I was already confident. Didn't hit the nail on the head there.
I think that's the response of the day.
Yeah,
I was already.
that was the response of the day.
I was already confident. All right. Anything else for board superintendent and other? All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are closed at 7:55 p.m.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.